Kayaking. Tips on starting a fulfilling new hobby. Introduction. Kayaks can be defined as boats that can be paddled from a seated position with two paddles. A kayak is a decked boat in contrast to the canoe, which is a non-decked boat and has to be paddled from a kneeling position with a single paddle. Being human-powered, the kayak is covered by a spray deck. The paddles are double-bladed. Kayaking is using the kayak to move on the water. The difference between the kayak and the canoe is the cockpit. While the kayak has a closed cockpit, the canoe has an open one. There is a seat at the bottom of the boat where the kayakers sit with their legs stretched out in front. On a canoe, there's a bench which is slightly raised where the canoeist has to kneel down. Kayaking as a hobby is gaining tremendously in popularity. With lifestyle becoming more and more stressful, a lot of people are taken to kayaking on weekends, which is a wonderful way to enjoy with family and friends. This book gives you detailed information about the various types of kayaks, techniques to use them, tips on purchasing a kayak, etc. If kayaking is already your hobby or you're planning to take it up as a hobby, then go on. Happy reading and happy kayaking. History of kayaking. The meaning of the word kayak is man's boat or the hunter's boat. According to archaeological evidence, kayaks are as old as 4,000 years old. Building a kayak originally was a very personal affair. The person who wanted the kayak had to construct it on his own, maybe with the assistance of his family. A man's wife especially helped him sew the skins and helped him fit everything to measurement, making sure there was enough room for maneuverability. Then together, they used to make a skin jacket called a tuilik, the original form of the modern spray deck, which, being attached to the kayak, acted as a waterproof seal. The way the original kayaks were built is very interesting. The first kayaks were built according to the size and structure of the person using it. There was no particular set standard for the size of the kayak or the material used to build it. The builder of the kayak used the materials that were available with him and used approximate measurements, adjusting the same with his body structure as reference. They used some standards like the length of the kayak should be 3 times the length of the user's hands when he stretches them out. Width of the cockpit measured the width of the builder's hips plus 2 fists, and the depth was approximately 2 of his fists added to the outstretched thumb. When you work this out, you see the original kayaks approximately measured about 17 feet in length, 20 to 22 feet in width, and about 7 inches in depth. Every kayak was therefore unique and custom-made and very difficult to duplicate. Thousands of years back, the indigenous people living in the Arctic regions used boats to hunt for fish for their livelihood. They used to go out on boats and fish in the rivers, inland lakes, and the coastal waters of the Arctic Ocean, Bering Sea, North Atlantic, and the North Pacific Oceans. These were the people who invented the original forms of the kayak. They did this by using the skin of animals like the seal. Since a lot of the areas where they lived did not have any trees, they used to collect driftwood, make frames out of these, and stretch the seal skin over the frame to give body to their kayaks. Kayak is a broad term used these days for this type of boats. Originally, the native people had different names for boats used for different purposes. A type of boat which was made in double or triple cockpit designs was used for transporting passengers, goods, and also for hunting. This boat was referred to as a baydarka. Another type of boat, which was anywhere between 17 to 60 feet long, was open-decked. This boat was constructed using the driftwood frames and sealskins. The paddles were single-bladed, and more than one person used to paddle the boat. This boat was called the umayak, which means woman's boat. The kayak probably was a umayak, which was decked and evolved into the modern-day form over a period of time. Kayaks of today basically originated from the primitive boats of Alaska, North Canada, and southwest Greenland. Till the 1950s, wooden kayaks and the folding kayaks, which is the kayak made of fabric fitted on wood frames, which are foldable, were popular. The year 1950 saw the introduction of kayaks made of fiberglass. Using rotomolded plastic to make kayaks is in vogue even today, and this originated in the year 1973. Today, kayaking is more of an entertaining hobby pursued by a lot of people. The stress of modern life leads people toward kayaking where they can let go and play around with the forces of nature and return back fresh to face life. Apart from being a popular hobby, kayaking is also becoming popular as a competitive sport.